Good Friday evening, First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips joining you from our First Alert desk. Happy to have you hanging out with me. I know that there's a lot of fun things that are typically going on for a Friday night. So I'm glad though that you're taking a few minutes to check in on what that weekend has in store, because we are, for a lot of us, probably already enjoying the weekend. But maybe you're still just a few more hours away. But outside tonight, we are going to be looking at conditions that are starting to cool down a little bit. We have our clear skies that have been around, but a few clouds have been rolling in. We were starting to even see those closer towards sunset tonight. And so we have seen our temperatures drop just a little bit more. So we are currently finding some of our readings that are into the upper 30s, lower 40s. I actually had that low in at 40. So I am going to have to make that quick change going into our 10 and 11 o'clock newscast. But you are going to see that we do have those conditions that are potentially a little bit cooler. Now, you can also join our stream at WNEM.com. We're also on the TV5 YouTube pages, and I am just getting our Facebook page started up here to hang out with us here on this Friday night. So we're going to mainly be talking about the weekend, making sure that you're prepped and ready to go. And we will have even a little bit of a preview of what you can look forward to for next week. But again, here tonight, our temperatures have cooled out a little bit. Normal lows, though, should be a little bit cooler than that, closer to the freezing mark. So we still have a little heat that we could lose, but considering the clouds have been rolling in, I anticipate us to kind of stay where we're at. We do have 32, though, in West Branch, so that's kind of been a cooler spot for us. We're able to hold on to those mid-40s along the shoreline of the Thumb. And we're also still at 46 there into Flint. As we take a look at our satellite and radar, you are going to see that we do have some clouds. No rainfall here tonight. Any of that moisture that's getting picked up is just kind of that late night moisture that we have. We do have a couple of breaks in the clouds. You can see those stretching through Midland, Gladwin counties. We're even seeing them into western Saginaw and Ogama counties. So there are still a couple of breaks that allow those temperatures to drop a little bit more. And the cloud cover that we have are cirrus clouds, so those are pretty thin. So we are finding that maybe that blanket isn't the thickest of blankets to have on the bed tonight. But we also are going to find that our winds, those have been a little bit breezy at times, and I'm going to be bringing those up here. So this is a look at our current wind speeds of what is currently happening. So thankfully, those are pretty calm. So for fans who are at high school football games, they're looking at a pretty comfortable forecast overall, considering it's mid-November. Obviously, it's a little bit cooler, but we are still going to find that it's pretty typical for mid-November. So a lot of our fans should be happy with the weather that we have, of course, coming up. Tonight at 11 on TV5, our sports team is going to be looking at a lot of our schools that are in playoffs. We had Mount Pleasant, that they were our game of the week. We also have Midland Dow that's playing. And we have a couple of our schools that are also on the road tonight. So our crews are going to be bringing back video and highlights. So make sure that you don't miss kind of the roundup so we can cheer on a lot of our local teams going into the playoff season. But one of the big things that everybody's probably, well, maybe not everybody, but some of us are hoping to see is that we do have some nice weather for hunting. So tomorrow is going to be opening day for firearm season for the deer hunters. So we are going to have our temperatures at that 48 at about 7 a.m. This is still kind of pulling some of that computer model data. I anticipate it to be a little bit cooler than that. We'll see how well those temperatures can rebound. But we are anticipating still to see some better heat coming in, with still some 50s and even 60s in the forecast for tomorrow. One thing to note, though, the earlier that you're out there, because sunrise is around 7:29 a.m., the earlier that you're out there, the lighter that the winds will be, and then those winds will start to pick up some speed as we go throughout the morning. We will have quite a bit of cloud cover, but I am planning on keeping it dry right around sunrise. So if you're going to go out and do some hunting right at the beginning of the day, I overall anticipate conditions to be pretty favorable for you. So good luck while you're out there. Southerly winds, but you will find later in the day that we do have kind of a change where our winds, they'll start to pick up and will also change wind direction. Because though we'll be starting kind of with that south-southwesterly wind, we will see once that cold front starts to come through in the evening that we do have that wind direction come out of the northwest by then. So we will find kind of that shift happening in the afternoon. That's also when we see our peak winds really start to climb. So we will have those peak wind gusts around 25 to 30 miles per hour at times tomorrow afternoon. So it'll be breezy. It'll be kind of uncomfortable at times if you are outside, but overall it's still manageable. So just be prepared that we do still have those breezy conditions that are going to be rolling throughout the day. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, we will have a look at maybe some of the folks that are going in hunting for deals in the forecast. So we're going to be taking a look at what you can expect here for the next couple of days for the weekend, if you're going to be going to some of our local downtown businesses to grab a bargain, or if you're just going to be maybe going to some bigger stores as well. So we're going to be looking at some of that holiday shopping, and also we'll have a look at that hour by hour forecast. That's all going to come right after the 60-second break. We are back, and we are going to be talking about that holiday shopping forecast. If you're looking to maybe get some bargains, maybe go to some of the local downtowns and support some of our smaller businesses and visit those boutiques, always a fun time to do. As we look ahead to that forecast, we are going to find tomorrow we have temperatures that are going to be warming up into the upper 50s, lower 60s, because we are going to kind of be in the warm sector before the cold front comes through later in the day. And that's when we are going to be falling back to reality on Sunday. We'll have those temperatures that are going to be into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we wrap up the weekend. The one thing that you'll see here is that I don't have too many icons for rain. It is going to be pretty spotty on those rain chances, but they are still going to be existent. And then we are going to be finding that we do have some lake effect flurries that are going to be possible. So we are picking those up in a couple of our communities as we go throughout the day on Sunday. So we'll be monitoring that as we go through the weekend. Just mainly be prepared that you are going to have some cooler conditions. When we look at the hour by hour, you'll see that we do have the cloud cover, kind of that light thin cloud cover, but no rainfall that's coming through. Now, going into tomorrow morning, the clouds do become thicker, so I would anticipate more clouds than sunshine throughout the day on Saturday. We will see that the forecast remains dry until about late morning. We have a couple of green specks that are starting to show up around 11 a.m. And just kind of the system, the whole bigger portion of the system is actually coming in from the northwest and pivoting through. But it is broken as it comes across. So this isn't really going to add a lot of water to us. We aren't going to find too much in the rain gauge, but we are going to still be finding that we pick up at least a chance for a few showers. So if you have maybe some outdoor plans, you're going to some local festivals or just anything that has you outside, have the First Alert weather app going. That's going to be a really helpful tool. I'll bring up that QR code so that you can get that downloaded in case you don't have it. If you already have it and you scan that QR code, that's just going to prompt you to run that update to make sure that you're on the latest version so that you have all the same tools that we have here in the weather computer so that you can stay on top of the forecast as well. Also, I sent that push alert out about 2 hours ago now, so you'll be able to kind of stay on top of all the forecasts. Also, with some of our high schools, they're playing football tomorrow, so we'll have a look at those forecasts on the app, but we can also preview some of those here tonight. As we take another look at this hour by hour, we find that a lot of the rain by 3-4 o'clock is starting to leave mid-Michigan. So it's a pretty small window, mainly in the afternoon. If you're going to go and be hunting and you'll be outside, just know that it's not going to be an all-day rain. Getting closer towards sunset, even some of the cloud cover starts to peel away, but then we have the lake effect that turns on. Those northwest winds are going to allow for some of these snow bands. You can kind of see coming in towards Ogama County, coming across the bay and sneaking into the thumb. So we kind of see a lot of those trying to stay east of 75, but we are going to have a better band that kind of picks up off the northern portions of Lake Huron and then stays out over the water. But because we do have during the day some of that blue, some of that snow action that's around us, I do anticipate at least a couple of flurries kind of giving us that snow globe effect. Now, the further south and west you are, if you're towards Owasso, Alma, you may not even see that stray flurry on Sunday. So it's not going to be everybody that has the chance. If you have outdoor plans, I really don't anticipate the lake effect to be all that troublesome for you because it's just going to be trying to come off of kind of the Straits of Mackinac, northern Lake Huron, northern Michigan. northern Lake Michigan, to where we will see that we do have the chance for some flurries, but I don't anticipate it to really get carried away here in the coverage. And even as we go into Monday, we're going to try to dry out that forecast at least a little bit better. You can kind of see we're starting to get closer to that Monday morning, and we see kind of that lake effect settling down just a little bit. Now, some of our rain totals, I need to bring those up here so that you can see what we are working with, because it's not going to be a whole lot. So even in the map, it's not going to extend into a lot. Looks like that data might be off to bed for the evening, but we're going to go and bring that back up here. So as we kind of push ahead in the forecast, you're going to see, even as we go through the weekend, even if we pick up a couple of flurries on Sunday, this includes the precipitation Saturday and Sunday, it's 1/10 of an inch or less. And a lot of us are on that or less side of the forecast. So we are not really going to be picking up on a lot of rain. So if you do have outdoor plans, this isn't going to be too much of a problem. If I have plans for tomorrow, I'm going to be keeping them, because this is not going to be too difficult to kind of navigate. It might be a little bit uncomfortable at times, but then we can just head inside and kind of wait for these showers to pass on by. As I had mentioned, we're also going to have the wind to be something to watch in tomorrow's forecast. So we are going to be looking at those conditions that are just a little bit blustery at times. Now, I do want to get some of those high school games set up, so I am going to take another quick 60-minute break, or 60-second break. Ooh, I'm not going to be gone for an hour. We have too much to do. We have too much to talk about. But hang with us. We're going to be right back in one fast minute. And we are back, and we are going to be talking high school football, because we do have still multiple schools that are still in the playoffs. So we have Harbor Beach. They are playing tomorrow, and this is a pretty big game. We have Beale City that's going to be headed to Harbor Beach. And because we are finding that 1 o'clock kickoff on Saturday into the thumb, we do have some scattered showers that are possible. So just keep that in mind if you are going to that matchup, that you will want the rain gear for this one. We are going to be looking at some decent rain chances for this game, just some spotty showers, and it will be a lighter rain, but it is just something to keep in mind if you are going to be going to Harbor Beach tomorrow for that playoff game. So temperatures, we are anticipating those to be in the 50s, because we have that warmer air that's going to be settling in. So though it looks nice on the temperature side, just be prepared for a little bit of wet weather for that game. Now we have another matchup tomorrow. That's going to be Ogama Heights. They're headed to Swan Valley for this game. This is also kicking off at 1 o'clock. We anticipate kind of being a little bit closer towards the Tri-Cities for this one, for temperatures to be closer to 60s. I wouldn't be surprised if we do still have some upper 50s by 1 o'clock, but we'll be watching it. And you can even see into that 1 o'clock hour, that's still when we're picking up on that rain. That is going to start to kind of push further east. So the later we get into the game, that should start to dry out for us. So I still would have the rain gear packed for this matchup as well, just to, one, be comfortable, but to be also on the safe side on picking up on some of that water. Now, another game that we have is Montrose. They are on the road, so they are going to be playing Kent City. We do anticipate some cloudier skies for this game. So hopefully we can kind of keep the rainfall out of this forecast. It doesn't hurt to throw the rain gear in the car just to be on the safe side. And temperatures for this matchup, we do have it sitting into the upper 50s for the game. Now, another one that we are watching, we have Clinton. They're going to be playing Millington tomorrow. Kickoff also at 1 o'clock. That's a pretty common one here at this round into playoffs. We are going to be finding temperatures to be into the lower 60s, kind of still a little bit further west. And I do have some showers in. You can see they're around the 2 o'clock hour. So though we may not have some rain to start, we may have it in the middle of the game. So just something to keep in mind, that you still want to have your rain gear also for this game. So any of our high school football games that are happening on Saturday, the whole idea is that you will want to take the rain jacket there when you go. Now, another game that we also have is is in East Lansing. Michigan State is going to be playing Penn State at Spartan Stadium. Kickoff is going to be at 3:30 tomorrow. If you are going to maybe be going tailgating, you'll have the winds to contend with. And we will find that we also have our conditions that allow for some 60s at the start of the game. And then we are going to be kind of falling back into the 50s as we get towards the later half of the game. So we will have quite a bit of cloud cover, and potentially we could have a little bit of a drier forecast because the storm system is just north enough for the Lansing area. But still, once again, would have the rain gear. I'd always rather be prepared than unprepared when we're talking about the weather. So just something to keep in mind here. Maybe you're just staying home and you want to do a little bit of yard work outside. Like maybe raking leaves is on your to-do list. It is going to be tricky here the next couple of days because the wind is going to be bringing down more leaves for you to clean up, but it's also going to be a little bit rainy at times tomorrow. So that means that the leaves are going to be damp, the ground is going to be damp. So Saturday might not be ideal if you are going to be raking any leaves. I would do them early Saturday morning. That's when the wind will be a little bit lighter, and also the ground should be at least fairly dry until we have that rain later on. Sunday, though we do have a couple of flurries around, we'll also have the wind and it will be cooler. So maybe not an ideal weekend for cleaning up the leaves, but if this is the only window you have, obviously we will manage with the conditions that we're working with. But going into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we have partly cloudy skies. So we have a nice looking forecast to potentially get the job done if you're able to wait that long. Even when we look at the 7-day forecast, you will find that we have that dry stretch of weather going into next week, but it doesn't last. So we're kind of sandwiched here on the 7-day with some precipitation. So Saturday, Sunday, that's when we're eyeing those scattered showers for tomorrow, the flurries going into Sunday. Still, those chances are not all that strong. We are going to see that we're at about 30% for tomorrow, and we might even be able to drop that to 20%. It's just not a very strong signal. But just don't forget, those temperatures do fall. We go from 60s on Saturday to 40s by Sunday. And then we do stay there. It's kind of that cold front that comes through tomorrow night is a reality check. It gets us back to where we should be. So we will be finding that we have quiet and kind of easy weather to get us back into the swing of things. Some of the nights also going to be a little bit cooler next week. We'll be seeing those drop down into the mid-20s. So have those heated blankets, the fuzzy socks, the whole warm winter kind of feeling going on so that you can stay warm during the night and get some good sleep. We do want to first alert you that we are tracking a low pressure system going into late next week. We've been watching this. This is pretty consistent in all of the model data that the storm is going to start to form. What we still need to figure out is the timing, the phasing, and the location, and what precipitation type. It mainly looks to just be rain, but we could see something frozen kind of on the northerly side of it. So we're really watching to see where this goes because we've seen it across multiple states develop. So that's what we're working on. We're kind of getting that big picture. We're getting that word out there that we have a storm for late next week. But really those fine-tuned details just aren't ready yet. So right now, though, we are looking at rainfall in the forecast to be likely. We're really watching to see how this one shapes up. So make sure you keep tuning in here to the First Alert Desk so that we can keep you updated. Of course, our meetings here at the First Alert Desk, we have First Alert Meteorologist Matthew Mondro. He typically meets here at about 10:30. And then we also have a 2 o'clock afternoon hit where usually myself or First Alert Meteorologist Stone Schaefer is hanging out. But if you're joining us here at 9 o'clock, we're also glad to have you at the end of your day to make sure that you're ready for tomorrow. And like tonight, we want to make sure that you're ready for the weekend. Now, if you do want to catch a few more of these, make sure that you get the push alerts turned on the TV5 News app and on the First Alert Weather app. That's a great way to connect with us so that you know when we are live here from the First Alert Desk. Also, if you do want to replay this, you are able to catch that replay capabilities on our WNEM YouTube page and also on the WNEM Facebook pages as well. So some good places to catch there. I also want to bring up the channel here so that you can see all the other fun happenings that we have. Let me make this full screen so I can bring that up for you, because I don't want you missing out on different ways that you can connect with us here at TV5, because we do have here on our YouTube page. So when you come, this is kind of the home page. Of course, you can see that we're live right now, but if you go under this live tab, this is where you can kind of replay all the extras that we have. So you can see Stone was live today. Matthew was also live earlier this morning, and also our morning team, they go and meet at 7 o'clock, more like 7:05, that you can connect with them to kind of get some of the latest headlines from overnight. And also our sports team, they put together a Friday Night Lights preview, and also they have a Spirit Spotlight with the Saginaw Spirit. So there's a lot of news, weather, and sports happening here from the First Alert Desk, and so we want to make sure that you are getting all of that good information so that you can stay on top of everything that is happening here in Mid-Michigan. But that is all I have here planned for the rest of your Friday night. So make sure you tune into the TV5 News at 10. That's going to be on TV5 Plus. So that's going to be on over-the-air channel 5.2. You can also get that on Spectrum and Xfinity. And then also you'll have the TV5 News at 11. That's also going to be over the airways, and that's where you're going to get all of those Friday Night Lights highlights. So don't miss all the action that a lot of our local students were playing and putting on the fields for us tonight. But hopefully you have a wonderful evening, and we look forward to meeting you right back here at the First Alert Desk next week.